Hey guys, still here, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Before we kick off with this, what's going to be quite a long game, two announcements. One, I'm still working on the mic settings, so this is one where I now have an actual pop filter, so the P's and the B's shouldn't be as loud or as bursty as they normally were. And I've upped the level of microphone input. This might mean that you get a little bit more surrounding sounds, although I have tried to limit that as much as possible. But there is a construction site out right out the door, and I have a couple of cats in the house. You know how cats can be assholes and ruin microphones, or at least recordings. Anyway, that's one. Two, I have a Patreon going. Now, the fact that I have a Patreon going is nothing new. I personally really hate it when YouTubers put a ton of ads in videos, and it's a bit of a contradiction, but yeah, I'm a YouTuber with an ad blocker. I mean, I'm a person too, and I really do not like seeing ads. But I do want to request your support for this channel. As you know, ad revenue just continues to drop on YouTube, and that's why I've switched to Patreon to keep this channel going. Now, it's not just begging for money and hoping that you just donate something. That's not the way that I have it set up. Every tier of support that you give gets you something new. Initially, you get early information on new videos, what am I working on, what's coming out when. But the higher tiers also get you info, or at least, let's say, voting rights on what games to play next, or access to my monthly Q&A. And then there's the monthly Patreon night that I'll be doing with one of the tiers of the Patreon support. So, link to that in the description down below, and any support that you can provide for the channel is of course going to get rewarded with, depending on what tier you pick, several perks. So not just blanket support, I don't really believe in that, not in this day and age. Alright, with that out of the way, we are going to be looking at a long game in Mudfight. It is a 10v10 tactical, and you know how these things go. You get potentially artillery players, you get the standard tank standoffs in Foxtrot, you get infantry skirmishes in Alpha. And generally, it is decided, or at least it seems to be decided after about 10, 20, something like that minutes. That's generally how this goes. This, however, is going to take 48 minutes. So strap in, because we're going to be here a while. Now I'm going to be following Ataz and Sniper Fire. They're operating on the right flank. Ataz sent in the replay. He's going to be using Landshut Motorized. I'm not sure what Sniper was using. Let's see what we have on the rest of the map, because I will be following these guys. I won't be following them exclusively. We have a CV, Reconnaissance, HGM, and AA. See, this is a good way of communicating with your team. It says exactly what you're going to bring, and it also allows other people to fill in the gaps. If you think that there might be a tank needed, or further HGM support, or something like that, maybe a mortar to provide smoke screens, you can do that. You just need to know what the other person's putting down. So I'm really happy with Pete, who is putting down this sort of an attack marker. Sherman's going over to that, what I still refer to as Suicide Town, because it is very hard to capture. We have Corona on the left. What else do we have? Roof and Riken are going artillery. Dual Bacan 1C, single Mars. Make that dual Mars. Now, this is not necessarily bad, but I'm not a big fan of Mars in 10v10 tactical. Because while they're pretty good weapon systems, they eat your fob pretty damn quick. Rate of fire is not that good. And you're spending 240 points for 2 Marses on units that could also be used on the front line. Now, why is Corona's group not moving? Or Corona? Because with one AMX 10 RC, it's not really gonna hold out for long. Anyway, we've got a mutual fire going on here. Jesus, looks like Sherman already took quite a few losses there. They did. They got 400 points. What the fuck did they kill? Transports. Probably with infantry inside. Could have been Marines in these vehicles. Or Gurkhas. Damn, that was expensive. 500 points versus the 20 points that Bluefor has. It is not uncommon to see people already giving up at this point. Already going, screw it. I've lost, well, let's say the majority of my forces, if not all of them. Fuck it, I'll just sign up for the next round. Because this one does not really look like it's going to be a win. That happens in these 10v10 tacticals. And it happens in the standard 10v10s too. Although, seemingly less so. Because the standard 10v10s are generally easier to come back from. Because you have a lot more income. Whereas here you could be sitting, staring at your screen for 20 minutes. And hoping that in the next 10 minutes you can buy another unit. Now I have a standoff fight here. RBS 56? See, this is something that I do not really condone. You got RBS 56, which are HGM units with poor range. And on top of that, they're not even elite. Whenever I play 10v10 tacticals or whatever sort of tactical, I try to get my units at elite. You get so few of them anyway, that you might as well get the highest amount of damage potential out of them. If they're not elite, you're not going to get that. In the meanwhile, red has moved quite a bit. That's a lot of Formosa. And Eric's. Damn. Okay. Navy SEALs are already getting hammered here. We've got a couple of lonely surviving Commando Marines. Let's see how Sniper and Atas are doing on the right. 20 Fallschirmjäger. Good move here, trying to encircle the enemy. Making sure they do not have a way to retreat. Riken says he's going to bomb this place. And he's going to be using a tornado. Looks like that didn't inflict too many blue on blues. Damn, what's that? Oh, crap. Well, so much for your expensive Mars. Let's see, these guys are elite. I wonder if they already dropped off their infantry over here. Or if we're going to be seeing new infantry getting dropped off here. I'm not sure if these helos are going to be in a position to attack though, because they have poor optics. Now it's pretty hard to miss a Mars down there. But still, they might not quite be able to see it. There we go. One of them's lining up. And not firing. What the hell? That's a bit unexpected. Unfortunately, we lost sight of them, so we don't exactly know what they are doing down here. Alright, back to the front line. Blue has been able to hold on to it. Mostly Ataz has survivors. Easy win, not so much. And to make matters worse, we now have a whole bunch of Legion 90 coming in. So, the Navy SEALs take a couple of those FHJ 84 rounds right to the face and go down. Ataz infantry is not doing any better. This vehicle might last quite a bit longer, because it's far more sustainable against that HE damage that these guys are trying to put out. But it is not very heavily armored. And the Legion are trying to make work of them. Over on the right, we have Fangyua Bing fighting off against a Marder 182 and Panzerskeeten 90. But how's the left doing? The left's not doing too well either. They have a 2A5 and a Leclerc. But they are missing optics. They do not have good line of sight on the enemy. So you can have very high-priced units, like a Leclerc, like a 2A5, but unless you get eyes on the enemy, unless you see what they're doing, what they're bringing in, and how to counter that, it is going to be pretty damn useless to have these high-end units here. Hopefully somebody can bring in reconnaissance soon. Yep, there we go. Corona's bringing in a Jupiter with elite infantry. Wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be a Spurn fair. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, let's see about the scores. Blue's on 1240, Red's on 7080. So they're still at that 500-point lead that they got at the start of the game. Fortunately, Blue now has a few more armored personnel, or let's say IFVs, not APCs. A few more IFVs over on the right. And it looks like they could be going down fairly quickly, because they're not the only one using IFVs. If they were, then they'd have a very good chance against all the infantry that Red can supply. That is, the Spetsnaz, the Legion 90, stuff like that. This, however, is going to be a problem. It looks like they lost most, if not all, of their infantry. Panzergrenadier, Leopard, 1A2, and fortunately the Proletariat went north, otherwise this command infantry and the transport would have been dead. What is Sniper doing over here? Hachinanashiki. Pretty good autocannon. Very mobile vehicle. It's telling me it's good. It has almost no armor to speak of. Not in a forest like this. Run into an autocannon, you're dead. Run into infantry, you're dead. But if you run into command infantry, they're dead. So hopefully he can do some scouting here. Jeez, we still have those helos at the back of the line. Fortunately, a Tiger is now actually working those things over. But that was one kill. There were 2 helos. I might have missed the second helo being killed. We still don't know what is coming out of that thing. If that is infantry, they're going to have a potential counter-artillery problem. So far, though, everything's blinking, so everything is concealed. And that's good news for Blue so far. I think that what might have happened is that Red dropped off their Eriks over here. So the, yeah, I'm going to try it. Erikskoja Jägere. Dropped them off there. Flew the helos to the map edge. Around, and then come in from over here. Now they do have one 205 sitting on the far right. This is sort of a picket helo, because it doesn't really do anything else very well. But other than that, not too much. Left is still... Hold on, whatever happened to your reconnaissance unit? I think it already went down. Speaking of reconnaissance units, for some reason or another, Red seems to be making a push right down the middle. That is really ballsy. And they're doing it with Spetsnaz in the open. But Blue doesn't really have anything that can counter them anyway. The 205 is now moving up. 205, 2A5. It's not a moment too soon because we got BTR robots and BMD 3s and VDV 90. If these guys make it to this tree line, Blue is going to almost have to give up Charlie. Otherwise, they don't really have any train to fall back to. Oh, poor Roland. Yeah, that was bound to happen. I think the Roland did some damage to the Akula, but a combination of an Akula and a K-52 is very, very difficult to counter. They are firing Iglas. How many do you have left? Because a Tiger Hap might be the solution here. Rafale comes in, misses the Akula. Oh my god, why would you call in a rookie Rafale? Seriously, don't do that. If you're going to bring in a unit in 10v10 tactical, make it elite. How about that as a new slogan for Wargame in 2019? If you're going into a tactical, do not bring a rookie unit, or I will call you out in my videos. This 2A5 survived. Whew. That was a B5 detonation, or a B5 drop, but the Leopard 2A5 fortunately made it out alive. Although how long that remains the case, we are going to see here. It seems that the artillery, HE by the looks of it, is a little out of position, but they're... Oh, they think they were re-aiming that to try and hit the Leopard anyway, because they must be communicating, and seeing that the Leopard 2A5 was not actually dead. The Leclerc is also still alive, but it's slightly further back, especially with those helos moving around. I think he pulled it back to this tree line. Now, the right flank. We have Easy Win and Atez. Unfortunately, it looks like Sniper lost all of his units. Holy shit, what is this? What is this? I guess we have a couple of units which were able to sneak over this hill. And now we have XA-185 cracks, as I call them, with an AGS grenade launcher, and 185 KTs with an autocannon. And they are going ham on the artillery that they are able to find. That's 2 bacans. If you have an actual artillery player who has nothing else, and no backbone, then there is a fairly good chance that the player will immediately surrender. Now they're trying to hit location. See, this is pretty poor communication here, because Red could have easily hit their own vehicles here. Fortunately, Sergeant Novato has been able to call in a helo, which, yes, again, is not very high in its veterancy. Oh, people, you cannot do this. It doesn't work. Here, Pete with a non-elite CIFA B. I know that at some point you're going to have to call in units as a sort of a stopgap measure, and that CIFA B is not bad at doing that. It's a 55-point helo, a few rocket pods on it, a very good autocannon. But please, try to get it as high in its veterancy as possible. They're getting really, really close here. Ooh, that was the vehicle. I think the CV so far has not been spotted. The other CV should hold the zone in case they do lose this one. Yeah, they're trying to either support their own infantry or guessing Atta's location for the CV. Scores are still really, really close. It's 28.55 versus 28.90. And Red again is making a push, but with a whole bunch of BTR 152s. Are these things acting as a meat shield or something? Because they're not very good at anything. Well, if you have a transport helo, then this thing can be annoying. If you have infantry out in the open, then this thing can be pretty deadly. If you have anything else, like an LVKV-90, then you're fucked. Although you could argue that the LVKV-90, by firing, gave its position away and subsequently got hit. I'm not sure if you can actually dedicate that to the service of the BTR 152E, but let's go with it. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, the right flank is still quite shaky. Ataz and Sherman and Easy Win have been able to make some progress. But progress in 10v10 tacticals almost always comes at a logistical price. It's not just bringing in combat units or new combat units, it's resupplying and repairing the units that you have. And getting that... Oh, this is not good. Getting that is tricky. Peace Ryan coming in. What were you trying to hit? I think Sniper might have had eyes on a transport or a higher value tank. Decided to get a Peace Ryan. And was trying to snipe a unit over here. No such luck, unfortunately. Oh, this could be tricky. The FL-15s have a really good rate of fire, do decent HE damage, but they take HE damage and standard autocannon damage pretty quickly. There goes one. Sherman pushes forward with the SBS, which are far better at short range than they are at long range. Holy crap, I think that this is what Sniper was trying to spot and kill. A Buratino. That's a lot of points, and extremely deadly against enemy infantry. If they can keep that thing spotted and neutralize it, their fight over here gets a whole lot easier. There is also an enemy aircraft coming in. That's not good. Yep, and here comes the B5. Bend over and say hi to the very, very high devastating power. There we go. That's 3 units down. The FL-15, a logistics unit, and I believe an infantry or a transport. And all of a sudden, Blue's hold on Alpha as fragile as it was, just became a whole lot worse. They have no more units over here. Again, if red decides to push a couple of transports, IFVs mostly, through here, then you're going to be in trouble. Bad. I gotta say, red's using a lot of helicopters this game. Interesting use of units. Interestingly, Freestyler is using a low veterancy Mi-24P. We're also seeing a medium veterancy T-72B 1989. These things are a nice medium of a tank. But again, I would really want them at elite. Especially since you have the sphere. That ATGM can do a lot of damage. And it has very good accuracy already. Might as well make use of it and boost that accuracy a little bit more. Besides that... Hold on, they got it. The 2A5 was able to get a shot into it and it died. It seems that that was not a free shot though. The 2A5 did get hit in the process. And there we go. One of the players on red has surrendered. The Leo 2A5 player is now calling for help. If this reconnaissance team get really ballsy, they might be able to finish off that 2A5. The 2A5 gets lucky, they take one shot, and they kill off the reconnaissance team. This can still go either way. Interestingly, the 2A5 seems to have understood that it needs to move towards the reconnaissance unit in reverse. If there's one thing that you do not want showing against enemy infantry, it is going to be the rear armor. Oh, damn. There goes the 2A5. They do have a Crotal at low veterancy. I'm going to just keep saying this. Let's just do a quick inventory of all the units. Leclerc, high vet. Spets, French spare, high vet. Low, medium vet, medium, 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 low. Elite, elite. Elite Marines. Medium. See, this is the one exception. Mortars. You don't really need mortars to be at very high veterancy. Sometimes it's even better to have them at slightly lower veterancy, because if you get your mortars at elite, they're going to drop all their shells exactly in one location. And sometimes you just want them to spread out their fire a little bit more. And by doing so, you get a bit more damage in on surrounding infantry units, especially on urban or forested areas like that. No, I think they're using an Mi-24AV as a sort of bait for enemy AA. The Crotal did take the bait. It fired off one of its missiles. If it hits both, it will be able to take on the Mi-24P. If it does not, then the Mi-24P will be able to take it. Provided that the Roland doesn't actually join in. Scores. They were even, or, well, yeah, they were pretty even a moment ago. 2500, 2500, something like that. Now it's 3390 versus 3810. Red has captured Alpha, Delta, and Fox. Blue only has Charlie and Bravo. So red does have a bit more income. And it looks like red is doing a good coordination run here. Coming in with 2 jets, make that 3 jets, 4 jets. It's Freestyler and Fettuccini, I think. Fettuccino. Fortunately, we're able to call off that as you elite your units. Seriously. An SU-25 is a good aircraft, if it's elite. Hot damn. Now, where's the Leclerc? Oh, the Leclerc is not doing too well. That's bad news, because without that Leclerc, they really have to rely on stuff like the Dorbin LR, their attack helicopters, and their command tank. They do have another command unit over here, command infantry. But that's about... no, that's not about it. They also have the other command. This is something that you generally see quite a bit in 10v10s. the more condensed your forces are going to be, the more CVs you will have in a zone. And that's exactly what you're seeing right here. Now, 3960, 3860. I think they lost a plane. Buratino is still alive and opening up. Immediately gets marked by an attack marker. But killing off a Buratino is a whole different issue. Don't tell me. Ooh, close. But you did give your position away. If you want these guys to live, you might have to relocate them. Now this time around they have set up a defensive barrier over here from Gurkhas, an Aslav, a couple of transports that they were still holding, to make sure that the enemy does not push out through this tree line again, right into the lower belly of Bravo. Hopefully that should stop whatever they're bringing in. Is that... no, that's not a B5. Yep, there we go. HGM team did not move. And the rocket plane took very, very good advantage of that. Easily wiping out the HGM. And as such, no longer a threat to the Buratino here. Now, how do you get back from this? Because you need to go to 10,000 points. This is why this game still has 27 minutes left. Or at least on the clock. The replay clock, it says 24 minutes. So either the entirety of one team surrenders, or somebody gets to 10,000 points, which in a 10v10 tactical is quite the achievement. Because it means you'd have to kill, based on what they have here, I think 3 to 4 times the units that Blue has on the field. Something like that. Oh crap. T9TS. Which is not at elite, I might add. They're providing it with good air cover. I wonder if Sniper still has his Peace Rhine. Although even if he does, I don't think he's tempted to use it right about now, because he doesn't quite know. There's another 1989 from Fireworks. Again, not at elite. I'll shut up about that for now. Enough about the elitist stuff. I wonder why this guy is resupplying his units right out in the open. I think the drivers of these units are starting to wonder about that themselves, because it is looking like Fireworks are coming in early today. They're still alive. They're not even moving. Come on. Make an effort. Yeah, that's a bit after the fact, but sure. He was quite lucky that these logistics units survived here. Now, let's speed it up a little bit, because I think that this is going to be a very slow slugfest. Leclerc duking it out with the 272, missing its missile since it lost line of sight. Tiger fires back, gets a hit in, almost kills it, but then gets killed by a Tor. This is a dangerous unit to both helos and aircraft, and since they now know that it's here, they are probably less inclined to send out HGM planes to start killing off tanks like these, or the T-90 that we saw previous. Now it looks like Red is making... I'm not sure if I can say making a push, because it's not that big of a push. Yeah, it's two different players, probably coordinating here. Because otherwise, having Commandosi coordinate with M88s from a different nation and a different player is a bit rare. Rocket plane comes in again. What are you going to pick for a target? Ooh, that was a good hit. I think the Commandosi didn't even take a scratch from that, and it did make their life a little easier. So, Blue just lost the town. Fallback position is a couple of Shermans, Dorban LR, SBS. The Shermans are going to have to take care of vehicles in tandem with the Dorban. But if the enemy infantry does start to push over, if they push out of that town, then we have a whole new challenge, because While these guys mostly carry machine guns or not so much ATGMs. We know they carry those, but assault rifles. I hope that's going to be enough. Red's now coming in with SU-12254s. Why? Are they trying to provide fire support? Or are they trying to build a meat shield? I wonder which one it is. Now, interestingly, blue is leading. 4685 versus 4445. Blue is still getting hammered, but they are definitely making red pay for every inch of terrain that they're trying to gain. Unfortunately, their AA net, Bluefor's AA net that is, seems to be almost non-existent. At least on the left flank they have a couple of Rolands and a Quartal. The right flank has exactly nothing. And red, so far, is making good use of that. Holy crap. That's a lot of Yakari 90. Gurkhas are pushing back. And now they're going to have to fall back. We have a couple more Jaeger coming in. You're going to need something like... yeah, that. To provide a bit of fire support. Whose unit's that? Easy win. Sniper brought in an F-15J. Sniper. Shame on you. Not elite. Come on. Oh, the Gurkhas are probably going to go down. The Jaeger already got killed off by the combined fire support from those HT-40s. They have a QU-1 in case blue does go on the offensive with aircraft. Oh, sniper, get the kill, get the kill. Yep, he got him. He got the interceptor. Without taking a scratch to the F-15J. 25 Gurkha, or 25 Yakari versus 3 Gurkhas. Make a run for it. No, Atas, do not push in. If you push in, then this unit is dead. Very, very dead. You might be looking to get a kill on that transport. T-62 reconnaissance coming in, or ZTQ-62. That's the transport. What else are you trying to hit? Yeah, nothing really. I think he's trying to fall back again. Trying to get back to that other tree line. Now, more infantry is pushing up. These not Commandosi. It could be Spetsnaz, although Spetsnaz usually is elite. What are they pushing up with? Good mortar fire. Almost right on top of them. Padobranchi coming in. QW1. Oh, there we go. The QW1 just got killed off by, I think, Ates. That Mi-24P might be trying and seeing if the enemy has any AA. If he finds out that they do not, and he starts to be aggressive, then I wonder... I'm not sure if you guys were able to hear that, but that was the fucking mailman. Anyway, the right flank. No AA. If that Mi-24P starts to push, this could get pretty painful pretty quick. They're still operating pretty aggressively with aircraft. Probably trying to dissuade any further HGM runs against their units. Zanchi. Freestyler surrenders. That's interesting. That's a Red 4 player. At 433 points. Seems that we might have a couple of levers from Red 4. Easy win surrenders, that's Bluefor. Now you don't know if these guys had something else to do, if their dinner was ready. Something could have happened that they went, I'm not going to actually quit, but I just have to go. Stuff like that happens, especially with a 50-minute match in Wargame. 2A1 slugging it out with a T-90S. I'm surprised this thing can take 2 hits. Durban LR firing back. Getting decent damage in on the T-90S, but the T-90S can take a whole lot more. Riken comes in, hits the T-90S. T-90S survives, the jet does not. Blue, however, is leading by 800 points almost. look at how much terrain Blue has given up. They started out here. They had a defensive line here. They had some guys in this town. And initially they pushed up to about here. Now we're looking at halfway through Charlie. Nowhere near Alpha. And they're trying to fight for their survival on the right flank. It's a tough fight. But they're fighting a very good slow retreat. If that's what you can call it. Maybe that's a bit of a too glorious of a name for it. Maybe it's not a slow retreat. Maybe it's a desperate retreat trying to hold on to the territory that you have. That came awfully close to the command unit. Let's speed it up a little. Yekri are pushing. 3 PGZ-80s are pushing up. If Blue decides to start pushing on the right with that Tiger or the H1S, then these guys are going to have to fight off with them. And at 2800 meter range, the 3 of them will be able to stun helicopters before they get their missiles off. It looks like the Tiger is thinking about it. Nope, he's holding. The T-90S has been completely repaired. Unfortunately, the Dorbans are now completely out of missiles as well. And whatever happened to the Sherman? Considering it's not on the front line, I think it died. Oh, this is getting awfully close to the command unit. They do have one in a vehicle here. And they have one over here in the building. So they can afford to lose this one, although it is another 100 points. Hold on, is this another triple stack of PGZ-80s? Okay, that's a lot of AA. I didn't know Blue was that threatening with their units. If I'm not mistaken, that thing drops napalm. Yep. Looks like Red is trying to get these guys out of position so they can take over this little forest here. You can do that through the tree line if you're lucky. Oh, that's going to be painful. How are you guys not dead? They're working on it. They're stunned. Now keep in mind that a napalm screen like this also provides a thick bit of smoke, and you can use that to push through as well. It's a makeshift smoke screen, and as such, with a makeshift smoke screen, you don't even need your mortars. So you can get sort of 2 for the price of 1. You can get both the units eradicated from here, and you can push your units in, although not immediately in, because it is a bit of an inhospitable area. Blue is almost giving up Charlie. Jesus. Oh, please tell me you can side shot that. And missed. Lost line of sight at the last possible second. Fettuccino surrenders. That's... Is that Blue? Or Red? I think it's Red. Yep. At 1280 points. He's the lead player there. I think at this point, he might have gotten sick of losing his units. He might have lost most of his units. Or he thinks that Blue is going to win this one. 14 minutes left. 6,000 or 6.5, let's say 6,700 for Blue. 55 for Red. They had such a lead. And then they gave it up. And interestingly, it's because Red is pushing. The thing that Red ideally should be doing... I mean, now they have to push, now they have to get kills, but they had all this terrain. And not just that, they also had a point lead. If they'd stopped pushing at that point lead, they would have won come the end of the timer. And I know that that's not the most entertaining way to win. It's not the most challenging, it's not the way you play a wargame, but that, logically, or looking at it from a standpoint of efficiency, would have been the best option. just wait it out. Do not push. Because if you're pushing, then by definition you're taking more risk than the enemy. And that's exactly what's going on here. See, this is not just a push, but it's also a pretty damn expensive push. And please never ever have two extremely high-priced Akulas flying tandem. One high-end AA missile hits one of them, the other one takes splash damage, and if the damage is high enough, you can kill two Akulas with one missile. Yep, 272 got hit, but did not go down. The Tor is now pushing up to make sure that the Akulas do not get countered by any sort of aircraft. Akulas are pushing, getting damage in on whatever they can find, which mostly is low-value stuff. Transports, logistics units, something like that. It is not very expensive. They are gaining points. 6,000 or 7,000 for blue, 6,300 for red. Could be a last-ditch effort here. 6.5 for red, 7 for blue. Akulas are moving to kill another transport. Fortunately, blue only has really low-value stuff over here. But they have a choice. We do not fire, and the enemy units push in, or we do fire, and we get killed off by the Akula or the Mi-24 VP combo. Over on the right, Sherman's units are squaring off against enemy infantry. Vastly outnumbered at that. And Red's getting more and more ballsy with their aircraft. It seems like he might... Yep, he got away with it. SU-24 survived. 73 for blue, 65 for red. Another aircraft comes in. Another seed aircraft. Roland opens up, but it is panicked. Its accuracy is only 22%. Nope. Ceasefire. Weapon off. SU-24M comes in again. This time around, the F-15 is not available. So whatever... Yeah, this could be the end of the Roland. If he gets a little unlucky. Yep, that's the end of the Roland. They do bring in a new Crotal. Good AA platform, but it only carries 4 missiles. And this Roland, so far, I'm not sure if it can do anything. It might be slightly too far away from the front line to actually be effective. 78 for red, or for blue, 67 for red. They were pushing like crazy, but they were also losing a lot of units in that process. And again, I think we have another couple of HH-40s behind our lines. At this point, though, I don't think the HH-40s can do too much damage. That Lonely Tiger over there should be enough to kill them. Oh, HT-40s, my bad. The Peace Ryan might be able to get a hit. A couple of short-range air-to-air. These things will not be able to fire back at the Tiger unless it lands, for some reason. Super Gleb flying over. Sniper does have a PSAM team over here. But it doesn't fire fast enough to get the Super Gleb. Now red was actually closing in points, but now they're breaking off again. It's 1,000 ahead for blue. They just need to keep this up for the next couple of minutes, and they win. But this is a close fight. More artillery is going to hit. See, their right flank is very weak. If Red 4 were to push up with the Akulas, the Mi-24Ps, and provide air cover with all of their aircraft, just to bait out the AA missiles, they could roll the entirety of Bluefor. They could kill absolutely everything. Because it only has 6 AA missiles here, which don't do a terrible amount of damage, just 5. They have 1 Crotal, which is out of missiles. They have a Gepard, and they have a Roland. But if they push through, killing a command unit here, killing the Mars for points, and getting the command unit here, then blue can no longer bring in units, and it's pretty much GG. Oh, is he actually trying it? He's getting another couple of kills. This is tricky, by the way. I would not recommend putting 2 Mi-24Ps active with their missiles. 1, otherwise you're wasting missiles. There goes another one. And the PSAM... does it get the third? It does get the third, but it's going to need another missile. Come on, guys. Lock on. Load that stinger. And you got him. Another 80 points. Mi-24P pushing forward. Spatscrew doing the spotting. Command unit is now fighting off against Spatscrew. Looks like red has finally countered Charlie. No, actually, they haven't countered Charlie. They're neutralizing... Hang on. Where are your command units? Red? 1 here. 1 there. 2 there. Another one there. Here. Where are your command units? Why are you not neutralizing Charlie? You could have done that a long time ago. Depriving blue of a bit more income. That's a train. More HT-40s. Sokol, Amayet Key T. They have 1 Roland. 1 Rapier. And 1 Gepard. And they have their Akulas, although one of them's taken a pretty bad hit. Looks like a Manpad's hit. What? So that was useful. Yep, that was their AA. It did get hit by the SU-24, but at this point, they're ahead by 1,500 points. 1,500, 1,500 is what we call that over here. 1,500 points. 1,400 points. Sokol takes a hit, returns fire with an eagle and kills the helo that's attacking it. ATGM goes out to greet the approaching ASU-85s. Come on, nope. That was to be expected, really. Automatic. Oh, this could pose a significant threat. Still beautiful vehicles as well. Parking itself between the rubble of the building, killing off 1, acquiring the other target. Eventually. Or not. Why were you not firing? Was that lower edge of the building in your way? Is that it? But red's not quite done with the helos just yet. Mi-24 AV train coming in. These are terrible helos. I mean, yes, they have rocket pods, yes, they have HGMs, but the rocket pods are not accurate and can barely be fired on the move with a 5% stabilizer. The HGMs have a 40% accuracy if they're hovering, which in a helicopter like that I really wouldn't recommend. And if you're moving them around, they hit with even less accuracy at 30%. If you do hit, you might get a kill on the transport, but a tank is just going to shrug it off. Where did that thing go? Did they kill it? I think they got it, yep. That automatic could have been pretty lethal. Tracked Rapier, getting a kill on an AV. They need 300 points. Come on. Gepard opening up. Kill. Peace Rhine flying in. Mostly to do a run, not with its HGM, but with its short-range air-to-air. It's taking a hit from the SU-24, I think, but survived. 200 points. 150. 70. Done. With 3 minutes left on the clock, they got it. That was an interesting fight. Look at this. 2248 versus 730 losses. I wonder who fed the most. This guy actually made positive. He was feeding. He made positive. He was feeding a little bit. He was almost breaking even. Ooh. We got an offender here. 410 versus 1430. And this guy made positive. That was a good fight, guys. Well done. On both sides. However, red really did not need to push. They had the advantage in points, and I know that then you get, or you tend to get, a little bit overzealous. And you think, hey, if I can take this terrain, I might be able to take a bit more. And when that happens, you start to run into increasingly dense levels of anti-GM or ATGM, AA, anti-infantry, because blue has consistently less terrain to defend. And that's exactly what you see happening here. And as such, red, initially with a lead, lost the game. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know down below in the comments what you thought of it. Again, please have a look at my Patreon. It's down below in the description. And down below in the description, you'll also find a couple of people who are already patrons or patrons and providing credit for them for making this video possible. If you want your name up there as well, join Patreon and I'll be happy to put your name down there as well. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you soon for more videos.